He's a Twitter troll.
Who's a Twitter
Hold
troll?
on, he's a Twitter troll, but you know how to respond to Twitter trolls.
Right, I'm going to not every time, but
Nah, you end
you
up.
have to sometimes.
I gotta tweet you sometimes.
You have to. Oh my! You have a burner?
No, I'm on page. No burner for me. This is all me. Shout out to KD though, but I go.
That face right there tells you everything you need to know. Eureka Hamby just called out an entire fan base, and she's not backing down. This isn't some vague subtweet or carefully worded statement. She went on Lou Williams' podcast 2 weeks ago and said what a lot of WNBA veterans have been thinking but wouldn't say out loud, and the target? Caitlin Clark's fan base. The same group that's been credited with saving the league is now being blamed for nearly destroying it from the inside.
But like, I ain't finna dedicate a lot of time to that shit.
I actually just troll.
I'm
It's when it
sensitive.
gets out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
had a
beauty-
bad
That's
run.
the beauty of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because
you
they're,
had a bad one. But it was
these
just
new
it was
Now, here's where she's about to go in. I mean, she's about to go on a whole rant. Did y'all hear her slip up with these new fans? Just go ahead and say it. Caitlin Clark fans. She about to slip up and tell it like it is right now. Speak her mind. And this right here is why she get a bad rep. Listen to what she about to say, y'all.
it was a section of fans though.
Notice how her energy completely shifts when they bring up Twitter trolls. She's not just annoyed. She's been dealing with this daily for months. Hamby talks about her parents sending her videos, fake stories being created about things that never happened, and having to constantly tell them it's not real unless it came directly from her. This is the reality behind the ratings boost everyone celebrates. The WNBA got the attention it desperately wanted, but it came with a fan base that veterans like Hamby, Angel Reese, and Aja Wilson openly describe as toxic.
A very, very specific one.
Yeah. You think that was helpful to the game, or was it harmful? Because the league need eyes.
Both.
It need promotion. Like
Right.
I always said, like when it comes to the WNBA, when it comes to the W, I used to say, man, y'all need personalities. Y'all need more marketing, more media. And I was like the guys, people care about what y'all doing off the court. I think y'all doing a really good job of that. But then it brought so much other.
And there it is, the money quote. Hamby's frustration boils over when she talks about faceless accounts. She's calling out the Twitter warriors who hide behind anonymous profiles, talk massive amounts of trash, then either deactivate their accounts or screenshot her responses instead of actually engaging. She's not wrong about this part. If you spend any time in WNBA Twitter, you'll see hundreds of accounts with no profile picture, random number usernames, and posting histories that only go back to April 2024. Coincidentally, right when Clark got drafted, the creator of this video even admits he agrees with Hamby on this specific point. There are legitimately thousands of Clark fans who won't show their face but will write paragraphs attacking players, questioning their skills, and making it personal. Hamby's challenge is simple. If you're going to talk that level of trash, stand on it. Show your face. Have a real conversation.
Attention
Yeah.
when other popular
They don't
players
like
got
it.
into the league. Like it brought something that shit was
It was like nasty energy.
yeah.
Like hateful. Like really like ugh.
Yeah. What was your experience like for that?
spirit.
Because we only see what you respond to,
Yeah.
but you dealing with that shit all day long.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us are, and it's like you try to not, focus on it or whatever, but it be on under your pictures, not even just like DMs where you have to go searching for it. It be out there in the open,
Yeah.
posts, YouTube. Like my parents be sending me videos of people making up stuff that happened, and they be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
But here's where it gets complicated. Hamby lumps all of Clark's fan base together, and that's where she loses credibility. Yes, there are toxic fans. Every massive fan base has them. LeBron's fans have them. Steph Curry's fans have them. Tom Brady had them. When you become the face of a sport and bring in millions of new viewers, a percentage of those people are going to be insufferable. That's not unique to Caitlin Clark. What Hamby and other veterans seem unwilling to acknowledge is that the majority of Clark's fan base isn't on Twitter harassing players. They're families watching games together. They're young girls who finally see someone who looks like them dominating basketball. They're casual sports fans who got interested because Clark's college career was appointment television. Those people aren't sending death threats or creating fake stories. They're just watching basketball. But instead of separating the toxic minority from the passionate majority, players like Hamby paint the entire fan base with the same brush, and that creates a feedback loop. The more veterans attack Clark's fans broadly, the more defensive those fans become. The more defensive they become, the more likely some of them are to cross the line. And then veterans point to those examples as proof that all Clark fans are terrible. It's a cycle that benefits nobody.
Okay, is this
Now she going in on the content creators. Look at her face. Look at her face. Now she finna go in on the content creators. Y'all listen.
real? I'm like, no, like if it didn't come for me, it's not real. But
You hold your own though.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I be like, show your face. Let's talk about it. And they never want to.
No, they won't.
As soon as you respond, they crickets or their page is deactivated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or they just screenshot it and then post it on another.
Yeah.
She responded
Sure,
to
yeah. That's what
It
they
be
want.
more
Love
men
attention.
Now I gotta agree with her on this one.
This moment, right here, reveals the real divide. When Hamby says the new fans brought something nasty and hateful, she's not just talking about online comments. She's talking about the way these fans analyze the game. Clark's fan base watches every play and questions everything. They break down film. They point out missed calls. They compare stats. They hold players and refs accountable in ways the WNBA hasn't experienced before. And for veterans who've been in the league for years with minimal scrutiny, that level of analysis feels like an attack. When you're used to playing in front of 2,000 people and getting local coverage that's mostly positive, suddenly having millions of people watch your every move and critique your defense is jarring. Hamby describes it as hateful. But is it hateful? Or is it just accountability?
There's a lot of people in CCFC fan base that don't want to show their face. There is a lot of them out there, bruh. If you're going to talk trash, you got to stand on what you saying. For real, bro. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of CCFC. Now, I don't agree with DJ Currington on a lot of things. There's a lot of people on that damn Twitter app that don't show their face and be talking big boy noise. What you scared of? You Twitter gangster. It's a whole lot of Twitter gangsters out there. CCFC, I just got to keep it real. I got to agree with her on
No
that.
women on your page. It'd be more men or women on your page.
Hating?
Yeah.
Men. What?
They just don't know
Definitely
how to
men.
flirt.
They be mad.
Yeah,
Oh my
niggas
God,
just
they
don't
be
know how to
so
flirt.
mad.
The NBA has dealt with this for decades. Players get roasted on social media constantly. Their defensive lapses become memes. Their playoff failures define their legacies. It's brutal, but it's also part of being in a major professional sports league. The WNBA wanted mainstream attention. They got it. But mainstream attention comes with mainstream criticism. What's particularly interesting is how Hamby frames this as a Caitlin Clark problem specifically. She mentions that it's a very, very specific section of fans causing issues. She's not talking about Angel Reese's fans, or Aja Wilson's fans, or Breonna Stewart's fans. She's specifically calling out Clark's fan base, and that's where the subtext becomes text. There's been a pattern all season of veterans taking shots at Clark indirectly by attacking her fans. They can't openly criticize Clark herself because her numbers are undeniable. She's breaking rookie records, leading the league in assists, and single-handedly making the Fever relevant. So instead, they go after her fan base as a proxy. It's a way to diminish her impact without directly saying her name.
You don't watch?
I did watch. And I told her, I broke it down. I ain't do the last 5, I did like the last 3. Because the Aces went back to back, so that helped me.
All right, the last 3.
Now? Again?
Yeah, now.
Now, she goes in to talk about the championships, but that's neither here or there. You guys can check out the full the interview at the Underground Lounge. I believe that's Lou Williams' show, but the focus of the video was pretty much her taking shots at Caitlin Clark fan base, and pretty much Caitlin Clark pretty much letting it be known all the new fans when the warning came with a double-edged sword. But like I stated, DJ Currington always got something negative to say. It's never nothing positive, bro. That's what's wrong with a lot of these women in the W. That's why the league can't move forward, because they just stuck in their ways, I should say. But
Watch how animated she gets when talking about responding to trolls. Hamby's not just defending herself, she's proud of clapping back. She says as soon as she responds and tells people to show their face and have a real conversation, they either go silent or just screenshot her response and post it without actually engaging. And she's got a point there, that's cowardly behavior. If you're going to challenge someone publicly, you should be willing to have that conversation publicly. But here's what Hamby doesn't mention. The reason a lot of those fans won't show their face isn't because they're cowards. It's because they've seen what happens when Clark fans do engage openly. They get dogpiled by players, media members, and other fans. Their employers get tagged. Their personal lives get investigated. The WNBA community has shown repeatedly that if you criticize certain players or defend Clark too strongly, you become a target. So some fans made a calculation. They can either attach their real identity to their opinions and risk professional consequences, or they can use anonymous accounts and say what they actually think. That's not ideal, but it's a rational response to an environment that's become increasingly hostile to dissenting opinions. And let's be clear about something else. Hamby talks about men being on her page, harassing her, implying that Clark's fanbase is primarily male trolls who don't even watch women's basketball. But the data doesn't support that narrative. Clark's fanbase is overwhelmingly female. The Fever's attendance is packed with women and families. The TV ratings show a massive increase in female viewership. This idea that it's just a bunch of dudes who hate women's basketball is a convenient story, but it's not accurate. And there's the kicker. Hamby calls out people who claim they don't watch the WNBA, but then harass players anyway. She challenges them on their basketball knowledge, asking who won the last championship. When they can't answer or get it wrong, she uses that as proof they're not real fans. But this logic completely ignores how sports fandom actually works. When LeBron came into the NBA, millions of people who'd never watched basketball before suddenly started watching. They didn't know the history. They didn't know who won the championship the year before. They just knew they wanted to watch this incredible talent play, and over time, they learned the game. They became educated fans, but at the beginning, they were casual viewers attracted by one player. That's exactly what's happening with Clark. She brought in millions of new viewers who don't have years of WNBA history memorized. They might not know the Aces won back-to-back championships. They might not know the league's salary structure or playoff format, but they know they want to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. And instead of welcoming those fans and helping them learn the league, veterans like Hamby are gatekeeping and using their lack of knowledge as a weapon. Here's what makes Derica Hamby's interview particularly revealing. She's absolutely right about some things. There are toxic fans. There are people who cross lines. There are anonymous accounts that exist solely to harass players. All of that is true, and all of that is unacceptable. But Hamby, like many WNBA veterans, can't seem to separate legitimate criticism from harassment. When fans point out that she got exposed defensively in a playoff game, that's not harassment. That's analysis. When fans compare her stats to other players at her position, that's not hate. That's context. When fans question coaching decisions or roster construction, that's not trolling. That's being an engaged fan. The WNBA has spent years begging for this level of engagement. They wanted fans who cared enough to debate and analyze and argue about the game. Now they have those fans, and players are calling them toxic because the analysis isn't always flattering. You can't have it both ways. You can't demand mainstream attention and then complain when that attention comes with mainstream scrutiny. What's particularly frustrating is how this narrative gets weaponized. Every time there's legitimate criticism of the WNBA, whether it's about officiating, scheduling, or competitive balance, it gets dismissed as coming from Caitlin Clark fans who don't really understand the league. It's become a catch-all excuse to ignore valid concerns, and that's not healthy for the league's growth. Think about what Hamby's actually saying when you strip away the emotion. She's upset that new fans showed up, don't know the league's history, analyze the game critically, and sometimes cross the line into harassment. But 3 of those 4 things are completely normal when a sport experiences explosive growth. The only legitimate complaint is the harassment, and that's a small minority of the fan base. The reality is that Caitlin Clark's arrival exposed something uncomfortable about the WNBA. For years, the league operated in relative obscurity with a small, loyal fan base that was mostly uncritical. Players could have average games and not get roasted on social media. Teams could make questionable decisions without intense scrutiny. The media coverage was overwhelmingly positive because the reporters covering the league were invested in its success. Clark changed all of that. She brought in millions of people who don't have that emotional investment in the league's success. They just want to watch good basketball. And when they see something they don't like, whether it's poor officiating, questionable coaching, or players underperforming, they say so, loudly. That's what happens in every major professional sports league. The WNBA just wasn't prepared for it. Hamby talks about this being harmful to the game. But is it really? The WNBA just had its most watched season in over 2 decades. Attendance is up across the board. Merchandise sales are through the roof. Expansion is coming. The league is more financially stable than it's ever been. All of that happened because Caitlin Clark brought in new fans. Yes, some of those fans are toxic, but the overwhelming majority are just people who want to watch basketball. The question veterans like Hamby need to ask themselves is this: would you rather have a league that's comfortable and supportive, but plays in empty arenas and gets no media coverage, or a league that's scrutinized and criticized, but actually has a viable future? Because you can't have both. Growth is messy. Mainstream attention is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. And here's the thing that really bothers me about Hamby's comments. Caitlin Clark has never once publicly attacked another player. She's never called out fans. She's never complained about the physicality or the targeting or the constant criticism. She just shows up, plays basketball, and lets her game speak for itself. She's been the model of professionalism in an incredibly difficult situation. But players like Hamby feel comfortable going on podcasts and taking shots at Clark's fanbase, knowing that Clark won't respond. They're punching down at fans while hiding behind the excuse that they're just defending themselves from harassment. And the media largely lets them get away with it, because criticizing WNBA veterans for attacking fans has become a third rail nobody wants to touch. The irony is that Hamby's interview is going to make the problem worse, not better. Every Clark fan who was on the fence about engaging with WNBA discourse just got told they're not welcome unless they pass some arbitrary test of league knowledge. Every casual viewer who was starting to get interested just got told they're part of the problem. Every family that started watching because their daughter loves Caitlin Clark just got lumped in with Twitter trolls. That's not how you build a sustainable fan base. That's how you alienate the exact people your league needs to survive. The WNBA spent decades begging for attention. They finally got it. And now some of their veteran players are actively trying to push those fans away because they don't like being criticized. It's self-defeating and short-sighted. So where does this leave us? The WNBA has a choice to make. They can embrace the new fans, educate them about the league's history, and accept that growth comes with growing pains. Or they can let veterans like Hamby continue attacking the fan base and watch those casual viewers drift away. Because here's the reality: most of those new fans aren't die-hard WNBA supporters. They're Caitlin Clark fans. If the league makes them feel unwelcome, they'll just watch Clark's games and ignore everything else. And that would be a massive missed opportunity. The WNBA has a chance to turn millions of casual viewers into lifelong fans. But that only happens if players, media, and the league itself stop treating new fans like the enemy. Hamby's interview is a perfect example of how not to handle this moment. Instead of welcoming new fans and separating the toxic minority from the passionate majority, she lumped everyone together and made them feel attacked. The question now is whether other players will follow her lead, or whether someone will finally stand up and say what needs to be said. The WNBA needs these fans, all of them, even the ones who don't know the league's history yet, even the ones who are only here for Caitlin Clark, because those fans represent growth, sustainability, and a viable future. And pushing them away to protect veteran players' feelings is a recipe for long-term failure. So here's my question for you. Is Dearica Hamby right to call out toxic fans, or is she alienating the exact people the WNBA needs to survive? And more importantly, why do WNBA veterans feel so comfortable attacking Caitlin Clark's fan base when Clark herself has never said a word about any of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation about this. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep covering the WNBA's growing pains all season long.